welcome. My name is Stephen Hernandez, and this is Non-Profit Fundamentals. I am very excited to be introducing the first in a series of interviews that I'm going to be conducting. And my first very special guest is Abby Bott from Families USA, who will be joining us here today to talk about some of her work in general, the Emerging Leaders Program, and some of her thoughts about the nonprofit field. So Abby, could you introduce yourself to our guests, please?
Hi everyone, I'm Abby Bott and I work at Families USA. I'm the Health Action Project and Outreach Coordinator, and I'm also the Project Manager of the Emerging Professionals.
Now, Abby, you have a very interesting story when it comes to health reform, and you're interested in the subject. Could you give people a little bit of background of what sparked your interest in this work and why this work is so personal to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, for me it is really personal. I was in my last semester of college in 2009 when I was diagnosed with cancer. So I had student insurance, but no other insurance, and my parents hadn't put me on their insurance that year. They said, "You're a healthy young adult, you'll be fine." But then when I had cancer, it was a different story. And I was graduating just in a couple months, so I really needed to figure out what I was doing insurance-wise. So luckily that was the January of 2010 when the first phases of Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, kicked in, and I was able to get back onto my parents' insurance, and it saved me. It was a huge relief to just have to deal with the actual illness and not the financial side of the illness at that time. So that was where my advocacy and really my passion for outreach about it just really all started. And I dealt with my own illness, and then a few years later I found this organization in Illinois called Campaign for Better Healthcare, and that sounded like the perfect title for me. So I started volunteering there, and that quickly turned into a temporary job, and then CVHC introduced me to Families, and then I moved to DC, and here I am. So I took an internship at Families, and I was just offered this position just recently. So I've been at Families for about 6 months now, and I'm really enjoying it, and DC, and all the aspects of healthcare and advocacy and all the policy and everything that goes with it.
Thank you. And I feel you're being a little bit modest here, Abby. Now, I think for those of us in the healthcare advocacy field, they're very knowledgeable about Families USA and the amazing conference that you put on. But that was your specific role. Could you talk a little bit more about the specific work you did for the Families USA's conference, and to try to give people a little bit of a taste of what that conference is, its scale, its scope, and what you did?
Yeah, definitely. It's the Health Action Conference that Families puts on every year. I started working here as the conference intern. I had done event planning at Campaign for Better Healthcare, and I wanted to keep doing that, and I found this opportunity. And although it was an internship, I really wanted to take it because it was such a great opportunity. The conference attracts somewhere between 700 and 800 people all across the nation, and it just brings together a lot of really great organizations, and everybody gets to participate in these plenaries with really great speakers. But then there's also this past conference we had 38 workshops and 10 different breakfasts, and so many different topics that we could learn from, and that we were teaching other people, and so many different organizations coming together to make that all happen. It was just a really great opportunity and too good to pass up.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was not able to make it this year. I'm hoping to next year. But really, it is a fantastic experience. And if people would like to learn more about the conference at Families USA, where would they go? What's the website, Abby?
Yeah, definitely. Or you can email me, find me on the website, and I can answer conference questions.
Very good. So that's what you were doing historically, but you have a new role now. You're doing similar things, but different things as well. So could you tell us a little bit, how did that come about and what you're doing?
Right. Well, from the conference, I knew that I like event planning, and I've definitely gotten to do that before. So I wanted to branch out and see what else I could be good at. So the project and outreach coordinator position um, came came into being, and now I not only get to work on the conference every year, but I'll also be doing more outreach to get people to attend the conference and get more people involved with the organization throughout the year. Also, I'll be full-time managing the emerging professionals, which is also pretty outreachy because we are still trying to grow that group. And we've already grown the group over 70% since September, so I'm really happy about that, and it's still growing. And we have a Facebook group. It's listed under Families USA Emerging Professionals, and you can find it there. And it's just a really great group of people who are looking for advice, tips, and tricks. We have a lot of resources and sharing for health advocacy and policy workers, and the actual definition of emerging professionals is if you've been in the business, policy, or advocacy for 5 or less years. But then we also have some professionals on the group who have advice, who can give advice. So it's really a great group and a good place to share what's going on in the different states.
Abby, you talked a little bit about your background about the work, how you came about it. So it's a very personal thing to you. Like, what are your goals in the field? Like, what are you hoping to achieve, like in the midterm and the long term? Like, what do you see yourself doing?
Well, I think after establishing that I was good at event planning, I did want to branch out and see what else I could try my hand at. I've done a variety of things, but like at the moment, my job is pretty involved in publishing newsletters and updates, and I really do like the writing and editing aspect of that, and then additional social media outreach, and just it's kind of like every nonprofit where you're wearing a lot of different hats. So I definitely get to try my hand at several different things all at the same time, and I my ultimate goal is to definitely just get more attention to the issues and to raise more ACA awareness, and to get more people to come to the conference. It's a really great experience, so hoping to reach more organizations within the state, and just grow everything that Families does as much as I can.
Great. And so let's talk now about the Emerging Leaders Program. Obviously, that's a big part of your job. That's, I think, within the circle of people who have attended the conference, they know what that is. You've talked a little bit about it, but could you tell us more, like what it currently is and where you would like that to go?
Sorry, what did you said? I didn't hear you.
Oh, sure.
My computer bleeped out.
Not a problem. So you've talked a little bit about the Emerging Leaders Program, where it currently is. Could you tell us more about where you would like it to go? Like, ideally, where do you want that program to evolve into in its next step?
Yeah, I would love to see it grow out, again, to all the organizations in the States that we have partnerships with. It's it's really a great tool to share tips and tricks and get advice from professionals. So I would really love to see the emerging professionals maybe get a mentorship program started, and just kind of learn from people who have already emerged, what they can do to go forward in their careers and how they can make the whole advocacy and policy sphere better as they're becoming these leaders. So I would really love to get more social media out there and get more of an audience and be able to come together at the conference for we host a breakfast and a reception and a workshop, and I would love to see if we can grow outside of the conference, and maybe have some kind of leadership throughout the country to get more people involved. The world is our oyster, I guess. I definitely want to keep growing as much as we can.
Well, those are lofty goals, and I think achievable goals. So, the last question: um, what advice would you have for people? Again, like you had a decision to make. Like, do I take this internship? Do I perhaps pursue another job? What advice do you have for people who kind of had those decisions to make in their own career as you did?
Yes. Wow. I was definitely in a really unique situation. I had I had been in the situation where I was employed and then suddenly I wasn't because that's how nonprofits work sometimes. But I was looking and I knew that I wanted to change my location, so I was able to just pick up and move to DC from Illinois. So that's pretty unique in itself. Not a lot of people want to change their surroundings, but I don't know. I just went for it, and it's pretty rare that you get these opportunities that I knew about families and I knew about Ron Pollock and everything going on at families within this organization. And I thought, all right, I actually saw the posting. There's like another word I'm looking for, but okay, going back.
Yep.
I actually saw the job posting on Indeed while I was searching for jobs. So that was pretty bizarre since I already knew about the organization. I thought, okay, that's a sign. So I applied and got it and moved, and it all happened really fast and no regrets. It was a great decision.
At the time, were people like, you're crazy, you're going over there? Like, was it an unpaid internship, or did you just get a stipend, or like, I imagine people were still telling you like, you moved for an internship. Like, were you getting pushback on that?
Yeah, I think people tend to think that you're supposed to be in a certain place in life, but I mean, for me especially, I had cancer in college. My life didn't go the way that it's supposed to go according to people. So it's just how it is, and it may have been viewed as a step back to some people, but it really put me exactly where I needed to be.
Right. I think that's excellent advice. I can think of no better way to end this interview than that. You took a chance. It worked out so well for you, Abby. I think that's excellent advice. Thank you so much for joining me. You were my first interviewee. I appreciate it so much. For everyone else who's watching, thank you so much for joining. Again, this is Stephen Hernandez, Non-Profit Fundamentals. Please comment below, suggest other people to be interviewed, subscribe to the channel, and share if you like. Thank you so much for joining us.